Okay, so welcome to our eating show. My name is John, and tonight I'm going to break you down the current update concerning this xenophobic attack coming from South Africa. And as I speak right now, South Africans now regret for, dealing with especially Ghana. And that is what I always say. Ghana is one particular country that if you touch one, you touch two. Ukum apema apem ebeba. That is what is happening right now. Now South Africans regretting for touching Ghanaian. Let's go and watch the video of Malema coming out now asking his fellow South Africans after you sacking 300 Ghanaians, what job has your government provided for you people?
Your own neighbors. You said they take jobs. I asked the question. 300 Ghanaians went back to Ghana 3 days ago. Show me 300 jobs which were created after those 3 Ghanaians left. Say no, Mahama took 300 people back to Ghana. And as a result, here are 300 jobs that we created. Because what I tell me 7 years.
There's that question that I was asking myself. And now, Malema is also asking the same question, that after you people driving Ghanaians, 300 Ghanaians to their country, what has your government provided for you?
So in the midst of the ongoing xenophobic attacks in South Africa, Africa is witnessing something unprecedented because of the country called Ghana. Now, over a decade, South Africans have been attacking other African migrants from Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Zambia, and Nigeria. They subject them to all kinds of inhumane treatment, beat them, and even to the point of killing some of them, claiming that they are illegal immigrants who are stealing their jobs in South Africa. And guess what? It was almost accepted as an annual ritual that almost every year these South Africans will wake up and do the same thing. Until in 2026, when they mistakenly confronted a Ghanaian citizen living in South Africa. And on top of it, videos of a Ghanaian woman being beaten in front of police also came out. Forgetting that Ghanaians are like American soldiers. They will always fight for their citizens, whether dead or alive. And a Ghanaian is never abandoned regardless of where he's coming from. As long as he's a Ghanaian, his political affiliation, his religion, or any other indifferences doesn't matter. Ghanaians will make sure they look out for that person, because the enemy of one Ghanaian citizen is the enemy of the nation. So Ghanaians reacted, and it was quick and unexpected. The South Africans didn't expect Ghanaians to react the same way they did. Now, after those reactions, other African countries who lost their voice and were afraid to speak up also decided to speak. So people from Tanzania, Botswana, and all parts of the world also reacted to these barbaric attacks. And finally, Nigeria also joined the call. And now some of the politicians in South Africa, including the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, who were acting as if they didn't know what was happening in South Africa, also started talking, including some South African citizens who are seriously against these xenophobic attacks. And it looks as if this is definitely going to be the last time people like Jacinta Mchunu, Trevor Pakela, Victoria Africa, and the rest will ever wake up to say we are going to confront other African immigrants because we think they are illegal immigrants who are stealing our jobs. Now, the same people who said they were giving all the African migrants up to June 30, if they don't go back to their countries, they are going to deal with them. The same people are now saying that is not what they meant. Just listen to them.
We are not saying foreigners on the 30th. It's not an event. We are not saying on the 30th the South Africans will group up and say foreigners must leave. We issued this date on the 7th of December, 2025. We said, we are giving you 6 months to plan yourself, because we know they got families, they got investments here, they got everything here, but they are still illegal. So we are saying all illegal immigrants from 7 December 2025, we are saying in June 30, you must be gone. All foreigners must leave South Africa before the 30th of June, because we want to sit down with the Home Affairs. We are not saying leave forever.
And funny enough, after attacking innocent African migrants, these same people are now going to their white masters in their own country to beg for job.
What we are planning, in fact, intending to do for you also, because we don't want a situation where we are saying employ our locals and you get people that are going to...
We employ locals, but the thing is, it's a big problem for the locals. Monday, You know the story. Monday is a problem.
That's the point I'm trying to get to. That's the point I'm trying to get to. I'm saying to you, we will take full accountability. We give you the people. We ensure that they comply. We ensure that they come to work on time, and we're not going to interfere, especially if a person comes and disrespect your business or does not follow protocol or does not want to comply. You've got every right to take action again. And we also cannot protect people that don't want to come to work. But we are saying we do have got capable...
Oh, South Africa. Who did this to you? You see, Ghana is not just like any other African country. Ghanaians are very tolerant, but never mistaking the tolerance of Ghanaians as stupidity or timidity, because Ghanaians are not timid. South Africans should know that Ghana is the first African country to gain independence from their colonial masters. You think timidity is what gave us the independence? No. So never think that because of our tolerance, it means Ghanaians are stupid. No, we are not. And we are the gateway to Africa. When you touch one, you've touched all of us. And we'll make sure we deal with you in a way that you never expected. Now you could see regret written all over their faces. They are all pulling back. Suddenly, this is Ghana. If you bite us one, we'll bite you two. And we'll bite you so hard that you will definitely get to know how it feels to bite another. Ghanaians are tolerant, but we are not stupid. So South Africans should know that this is just the beginning. We haven't started yet. It is only a matter of time. Share your thoughts with us in the comment section.
Which jobs are they taking from you? Who wants to do these jobs that these people don't pay for? Because these people who come from outside South Africa, they are the ones who do those jobs during harvesting season in Stellenbosch, where they are not paid anything. And you will never want to do that job because we know our rights. We don't want slaves jobs. We want jobs that have got appointment letter with benefits, with pension funds, a letter that can confirm that you are economically active. Not jobs that are going to exploit South Africans. That's why you will never go back to take those jobs. In Alexander, 1 year, they took away the Zimbabweans and foreigners who were selling apples and tomatoes on the streets. Said, Mabahambe, let them go out. After they chased them away, no South African went to that space to sell tomatoes and apples. Abantu base Alex were saying, hey, you know, we now travel long distance to go and get tomato. Because when you remove them, you must go in and sell tomatoes. Stellan Davin has got 500 million to give you to start those spaza shops, to occupy those streets and sell. But they will never give you that money. It goes into their pockets. We're told 500 million is out. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to fight for spaza shop. I'm fighting for a mine. I'm fighting for a bank. That's why they divert you into spaza shops, because they don't want you to concentrate on the real economy. They want you to fight over crumbs while they are continuing to eat. Stop the hate, because from xenophobia is going to be tribalism. It's already tribalism somewhere in KZN where vendors are being beaten. South Africans, anyone who can't speak Zulu is being beaten up. You cannot promote hate. It doesn't matter how hungry you are. Even in your hunger, you must never hate. You can hate me for telling you not to hate. Why must I tell you to hate? I must tell you to love. And when I tell you to love, it means you must love yourself first before you can love other people. You are hating on other people because you are hating yourself. How will I differentiate in this hall? Who's Xhosa, who's Zulu, who's Venda? By just looking at you. Some of us from Limpopo are going to be the biggest victims because we are dark. At least you Xhosas, abu matiba. Matiba umte. You shall survive. Tina, hamba kai. Mauta wafuna makwerekwere. What do you mean by that? Because amaXhosa are found in Zimbabwe. Abumpofu bakhona apha eZimbabwe. So when you say asibafuni mabahambe, usho ukuthi everyone who has got a surname that sounds like Zimbabwean must go. It means the Mpofus here must also live. Abantwana bomzilikazi from the Zulu nation are found in Zimbabwe. The Tsongas in Limpopo and Guyana, they are found in Mozambique. The Basutus in Free State and parts of Matatiele, here in Eastern Cape, are found in Lesotho. They are your relatives. You've got children with them. Some of you during weekends, you even cross to go into an event across the fence. Without a passport. Mauba soba to funi passport mabambe mara ubuya elisotho just yesterday. You are not aware. Someone has come to fool you and make you think there is a big problem for you to fight with your own neighbors. You said they take jobs. I asked the question.
Okay, so guys, let's move quickly and listen to what Mr. President John Dramani Mahama also asked, and don't forget to share this video and like it as well.
Take your time, speak slowly.
Please, do it one by one. Thank you.
My name is Bevelyn. I'm 18 years old. And my question is, how does Ghana plan to attract more foreign direct investment in a way that ensures that there is no resource crowding, so like raw materials, like employment?
Oh, there's no resource.
Yes.
Can somebody say it in Ghanaian English for me, please?
Okay. And
I heard, how do we attract foreign investment?
yes,
So that something from the rest of us
so that there is so that the foreign businesses don't take away a lot of resources like jobs or like labor or resources.
Yeah, thank you.
And so that there is no displacement of domestic businesses. That foreign businesses come and they, they provide like cheaper products, like I don't want to name some names, but they provide cheaper resources, and this displaces a lot of local businesses who might have more high cost of production.
Thank you very much for your question. Thank you. Let's allow His Excellency to respond to the second round of questions, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I'll start with Nana's question, and he spoke about accidents. Yeah, many of us have lost relatives or through accidents, or they've been permanently injured and disabled because of road accidents. Now the main reason is multiple. There are many reasons for it. One, our licensing regime is a problem. People are able to get driver's licenses without going through the rigorous testing that they have to go through to be able to get the licenses. And then the second one is also the road infrastructure. Ghana has maintained the old road infrastructure that was left us by the British. And these roads were single lane highways. And so you have one traffic going in one direction and another coming in the other direction. That is a recipe for accidents, because wrong judgment in overtaking leads to head-on collisions. And so we have taken a decision, and I'm happy the road minister is here under the big push. Major roads, that is our busiest roads, are being dualized. And so you would have 4 lanes, 2 lanes on one side going in the same direction, and 2 lanes on the other side coming in the same direction, so that the issue of single lane overtaking and collisions will be a thing of the past. And so the Accra, Winneba, Mankesem, Cape Coast Takrady Road, which is one of our busiest roads, is being converted into a dual course highway. the Accra, Adan to Aflawo Road, which is another of our biggest roads, is also being turned into a dual-course highway. But then the iconic one is the Accra-Kumasi Expressway. And I'm pleased to inform our traditional ruler that work has actually started. We've given the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Army the contract to clear the roadway, and they've started. As I was leaving Ghana, they had cleared 51 kilometers of the road. And that new road is going to reduce the traveling distance between Accra and Kumasi from 270 kilometers to 198 kilometers. So one is going to be shorter, and two is going to be a 6-lane expressway. So there'll be 3 lanes going in one direction and 3 lanes coming in the other direction. And in all the major towns, it's not going to go through any major town. It's bypassing all the towns. If you get to Asamankesi, there'll be an off-ramp. You go on the off-ramp, you come under the bridge, and then you go to Asamankesi. If you get to Akimoda, you go off the off-ramp, and you go to Akimoda. If you get to Ofuasi, who's from Ofuasi, you go off the off-ramp, and you go to Ofuasi. If you get to, what do they call it, Bosomtri, you go off the off-ramp, and you go to Bosomtri. So it's not going to go through any major urban development. And so you won't have people selling bread and other things along the road. At various stops in the road, there are going to be rest stops. And so there'll be a filling station, there'll be restaurants, there'll be shops, there'll be guest houses. If you want to take a rest, you can go off the road, go and rest. You can use the washrooms, you buy your fuel, and then you continue. And so there'll be rest stops along the road. Of course, it will be a tolled road. And so if you want to use it, you have to pay. If you don't want to pay, then the old, I was going to say snail-paced old road is still available for you. That one, if you want to take that option, that's for you. But if you want to go quickly, and it will take you 2 hours to go from Accra to Kumasi instead of current 5 hours that you take. And so I believe that working on the road infrastructure will reduce the accidents, but we also are tightening the licensing regime so that people who go behind the steer, we know, have the capacity to take people from point A to point B. With regards to the 24-hour economy, and I'm happy Guzi gave you a brief on it. We've passed the 24-hour economy authority bill. It's become an act now. I signed it into law. And just last week, the team brought the reports and the vision to cabinet for approval. If you want to take a rest, you can go off the road, go and rest. You can use the washrooms, you buy your fuel, and then you continue. And so there'll be rest stops along the road. Of course, it will be a tolled road. And so if you want to use it, you have to pay. If you don't want to pay, then the old, I was going to say snail-paced old road is still available for you. That one, if you want to take that option, that's for you. But if you want to go quickly, and it will take you 2 hours to go from Accra to Kumasi instead of current 5 hours that